my morale went down. My morale just went down. I just couldn't, feel myself again. That is emotion taking place because there is a reaction in your body as a result of an event happening around you. Now, when we talk about leaders, a leader is a person who leads or is at the helm of affair of a religion, of an organization, of a country, of a group, whatever we find ourselves, there must always be a leader and there must always be a follower. Then let's talk about emotional intelligence. Is your ability to recognize. That's the first one. Your ability to recognize, then understand, manage your own emotions and that of other people. Your ability to first recognize, that is self-awareness. You're able to understand that, okay, I just felt like this, something happened now, and that is you recognizing your own personal emotion. Now, when you understand, you realize you recognize your personal emotions and you're able to process it. That is the understanding. Then after processing it, you're able to manage it, you're able to control it. The emotion is not controlling you. That is your ability to manage it. Now, when you're able to manage yourself properly, we will say you are self-controlled, we will say you're patient, we will say you're mature. Then you cannot talk of managing other people. If you cannot manage yourself, I'm sure you know you are not able to manage other people. Now, I want to talk about emotional intelligence for leaders. Simply put, it is the ability of a leader to recognize, understand, and manage his own emotions and that of the people he's leading. Your ability as a leader to recognize, to understand, and manage your personal emotions and that of the people you are leading. That is what we talk about when we talk about emotional intelligence. Now, let me tell you some facts about emotional intelligence. I have about 9 of them here. Emotions are datas. Facts about emotions. Emotions are datas, they're not directives. Do you understand? I studied counseling in school, and apart from doing the school, I've done some trainings, I've worked with some set of people, and you just understand that oftentimes people think that the moment they feel something, they have to respond to it. No, you don't have to respond to it. It's just like when you're having a headache, your head is aching. That headache is giving you a signal, it's giving you an information that something is not in place in your body. It is not a directive. It is telling you that something is data, is information. That's what I'm simply saying. But number 2, they are signals that comes bearing messages. They are signals that come bearing messages. Now, as a child, when I was younger, as a teenager, there's something I experience almost every now and then. Anything that makes me feel dizzy or start having headache and it's not going, it means something is wrong. I have not had time to rest or sleep. So while everybody is going about taking paracetamol and doing this and that, I just look for somewhere to have a good sleep. Because my body already signaled to me that you are not sleeping properly. You need time to rest. You need to take off time. You understand? So once I get that signal, I know what to do and I'll be okay. The same thing is our emotions. Emotions are signals and they come with messages. Every emotion is valid. This is where we have quite a number of challenges with our relationship. When we talk about relating with people, whether as superior, whether people that are beneath us, even as children in church, whatever we find ourselves, this is where we have issues. Oftentimes, we invalidate people's emotion, we dismiss people's emotion. Every emotion is valid, and there are no positive or negative emotion. The emotions is your emotion. You felt something. That is not the thing. And nobody should come around to say that what you are feeling is wrong. You're not supposed to be feeling like this. That is not appropriate. You are feeling something, it is valid. Something happened around you and you felt something. It's okay to feel something. Then you can control your emotions. Yes, you can control your emotions. Oftentimes people feel that they cannot control their emotion. At the moment I felt that I just gave him slap. I just started raising my voice and just started doing this. No. At that point, you are reacting. You are not responding to emotion. Do you understand? So you can control your emotion. People who have mastered their emotion, who understand their own emotion, they respond to their emotions. They do not react to their emotion. When you react to your emotions, you can do some funny things, but when you respond, we say you are mature. Every emotion has intensity. Just like, I have a slight headache. This headache is, and then you have someone that cannot even sleep because they're having headaches. The same thing is emotion. When I spoke to her, she was a bit angry. No, she wasn't having it. She was angry. I've not seen her in this. These are intensity. These are degrees of emotion. She was excited. She was excited anyway. That's the degree of emotion. So every emotion has intensity. Then you also need to understand that you are either responding or reacting to emotions. You are reacting or you are responding. And when you are responding, it means response comes from the place of thoughts, from the place of patience, from the place of you looking ahead, thinking in retrospect, and looking at it to say, okay, what is going to be the consequences of this action? What is going to be the consequences of this communication? You are thinking. But people who respond, they don't feel there's an emergency need to do that thing they need to do at that time. People who react, they look as if they are sitting on a time bomb. Any little thing, they just flip, and before you know it, they are talking, they are shouting. That is people who react. So that's the difference between somebody who is emotionally matured and somebody who is not. Emotions are transferable. Look at the story of Jacob in the Bible. He so much loved, what's her name? This is why that the mother of Joseph, he loved her so much. And by the time the woman passed on, that love that he had for that woman was what he transferred. Do you understand? To the son and to her two sons when she was no longer there. It's just like you remember that while we're growing up, you must have seen people whose neighbors that are polygamous, and then when there is a fight, the wife who is the apple of the eye of the man, our children enjoys more love, enjoy more resources than other one that he doesn't really feel so much about. You know why? It is the love he has for their mother that he has transferred to the children. Number 8 here is that emotions are contagious. Emotions are contagious. If you get to a place, okay, I walk into my street, one particular here, and as soon as I walk into the streets, right from the junction, I just knew something was wrong. The junction, there is so much people. I just knew that the atmosphere is not. By the time I walk into the street properly, I saw a woman. She sat and looked at her. I said, something is actually happening in the neighborhood. Please, what's going on? What happened? And then she told me that we lost a woman while she was trying to give birth. And, I became, so that emotion is not my emotion. It's an emotion that I contacted from someone else because of happening in the environment. Then the last one here is what? All the emotion lasts for 6 seconds. This is where I always have arguments. They know, I've been angry with her for like 5 years. It is because you are recalling the emotions. But every emotion, the intensity, the whatever it is, only lasts for 6 seconds. Now, what are the sequences of emotional flow? When I say emotional flow, how does it start? Where does it start from? And how does it move? What is the progression of emotion? Emotion starts from your cognition, from your thoughts. The cognitive part of your emotion starts from your thoughts and your interpretation of events. Nothing means anything except the interpretation you give to it. So when an event happens around you and you think about it, you are not actually reacting to the event itself. You are responding and reacting to your interpretation of that event. So your emotion starts from your thought. And if you think in retrospect, as I speak, that you remember that the last time that you reacted to something was because of what you thought about that event. That was why you suddenly begin to feel funny. Maybe you feel excited or you are angry. So it's because of the thoughts you have about that event. That's why you now have the feeling. The feeling is the physiological part. That's where you begin to feel like, okay, this person attitude, what this person said must mean that I'm stupid, or it must mean that I'm not acting well. It must mean that, then it gives birth to feelings. Your thoughts will lead to feeling. And the moment you start feeling, if you can feel it, you can act out. Now, when you're acting, your action talks about what you do or what you didn't do in response to that emotion. Now, I need to say this here that oftentimes it starts from the thought, it goes to the feeling, and then it moves to the actions. But some other time, it also starts from the actions. When people act somehow, somebody will begin to think, what's happening? And they begin to feel. So they are interwoven. But more often than not, it starts from your thought, your cognition. It's safe to say that if you can control your thought, if you can work on your thought pattern, your reasoning, you'll be able to manage your emotions properly. Now let's talk about 5 components of emotions. If I ask all of us to talk about what we know about emotions and the components of emotion, I know we'll be able to say 1 or 2 things. But for the sake of our time, let's quickly delve into 5 components of emotions. We need to understand these things so we are able to know what we're talking about. Number 1 is self-awareness. Self-awareness is your ability to know and understand your own emotions. If you look at the definition I gave at the beginning, I've talked about recognizing your own emotion, understanding it, that's you processing it, and then you're able to manage it. And you will not know your emotion. You cannot manage your emotion if you cannot name it. That's why you will see the next point I have here is name it to tame it. If you can't name your emotions, you can't tame it. Oftentimes, people just react. There are primary emotions, there are secondary emotions. People just react to what kind of things. They don't even know why they are angry at times. They don't even know why they are talking at times. Because when you ask them, okay, what is that happening? What did you do? They say, they cannot really figure out the exact thing that led to what. And just like somebody says something and, it sparked this reaction, it sparked that reaction. And before you know it, they start reacting. So it's important for you to know that if you're going to be emotionally intelligent, you must know what you are feeling, you must understand what you are feeling, and you must be able to name it. Now, your ability to say, I am self-aware, is that you're able to name your emotions, and then if you're able to name it, you can probe it. Now, probing it is that ability to ask yourself, okay, I have a headache. Why am I having this headache? Is it because I have not slept so well? Have I been overworking myself? Or my BP is high? Then you're probing. That's the same thing we'll do to our emotions. The moment you're able to tell, okay, I have this feeling. Why am I having this feeling? Then you're on your way. You're already on your way to understanding your emotion. It means you recognize your emotion and you understand them. Then the other thing is that when you're self-aware, you pay attention to how you respond to your emotions. That shows that you're self-aware. Then you must know your patterns. Yes, you must know your pattern. At a point in time, I know that once I'm getting angry, my hand, I start talking with so much energy. When I say energy, I will be talking, and when I'm talking, at a point, I could just close my eyes, and if care is not taken, you see just that at that point, because I want to coordinate myself, you will see a tear drop from my eyes. And once it drops, I just go quiet because I begin to see that I'm getting to that point. I wouldn't want to do something stupid. And so for those who know at that point, just say, what's happening there? I just go silent because at that time I recognize that a pattern is building. You must understand your pattern. You must understand some things that happen around you that can also trigger you. That says that you are emotionally aware. If you're not emotionally aware, you may not be able to understand your patterns. This is very, very important. You should know when before you react to anything or even respond, there is a phase for build up of emotions. And when that thing is building, if you cannot understand your pattern, you'll not be able to identify it. You don't know what to do about it. So emotional awareness is very important. Now, recognize how emotion affects your decisions. Recognize how emotion affects your decisions. I may not be talking so much, but when I'm tense, I find out that words, I'm always quick to say so many things. I will do some things, and at the end of the day, I will sit down to like, I'm regretting what I have said because why did I have to say this? That moment, I'm emotionally high, and I don't want like what is happening. So what I do is, once I get to that point, I just shut down on conversation. Because I'm now mature, I'll just say, can we have this conversation some other time? I think I am tense. I'm very honest with that. I just said, I'm tensed and I don't want to do this now. So we can just let it slide. Later we can talk about it. So you need to understand how emotion affects your decision. Example of such emotion is excitement, anger, fear, anxiety. How do they affect your decision? Like there was a case of a guy who graduated from a University of Abuja, and because he just, was passing, it was his final exam. He was so excited that excitement led to his death. Why? He was excited and he wasn't conscious of his emotion. He allowed his emotion to control him. I think that's the right word. And then he went and climbed on the back of a moving vehicle. And unfortunately, he fell off the vehicle, and that was how he passed out. You understand? That's because he did not understand that emotions can affect his decision. So acknowledging your strengths and weaknesses without arrogance or insecurity means you are emotionally aware. Number 2 is self-regulation. Now, when we talk about self-regulation, it's your ability to control your emotion instead of your emotion controlling you. If you're able to tame yourself, some men, you wonder, so this woman said all this thing to this man and he didn't react and he was just still cool. Like I have a very vivid example. I was at the hospital with a woman where she just gave birth, and I can't even remember exactly what the husband said. I felt displeased with her behavior because the way she spoke to her husband at that point in time, the way she raised her voice, but like you need to see the man. He just smiled. The way we were about 2 or 3 there, we all knew that she just didn't play a card well. But this man just behaved like nothing happened. They will have to trash that probably when we're no longer there, but he didn't allow that to, take charge of the atmosphere. He managed the atmosphere, he controlled the atmosphere because he didn't allow his emotion to get the best of him at that point in time. I should be honest with you. I'm not sure I'll be able to do what he has done as at then because I will have like given it back to her. What's the meaning of this? That is because that was the level I was at that time. Now, self-regulation talks about you being able to control your emotions instead of your emotion controlling you. Self-regulation talks about you responding rather than being reactive. Like I said before, response is a process of time. It is not instantaneous. Oftentimes we try to respond to issues or because we feel there's an emergency. If I didn't let him know what he has done, if I didn't give it back to him or her now, it feels like I'm a fool. It feels like, well, you end up making a fool out of yourself because you now overreacted and do certain things you're not supposed to do that are even against your value. So it means you're not self-regulated. Now, when we talk about self-regulation talk about you being proactive. You see, this being proactive is one of the things I had to learn in the hard way. I'm not so much, I can be proactive, but I never know it can be part of those things that can help my emotions. And the reason is that the way I grew up and the environment I find myself. But when you're proactive, you're able to foresee evil coming. You're able to foresee some disasters and you're able to avert them. There's a place in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs, that the scripture says that a wise man sees danger ahead and he moves away from it. Let me use a Yoruba proverb here. It says, Igi gogoro ma gùn mí lójú, òkèèrè la ti ń wò. Let me look for the right one for it in English is prevention is better than cure. So you just look ahead and say, okay, what are the likely things that could happen, that could go wrong? What do I do to mitigate this? Because if you do not plan this now and you're being proactive to manage those scenarios ahead of time, when they come, they will throw you off balance and you will be out of control. Self-regulation talks about avoiding emotional outbursts or impulsive reactions. Self-regulation also talk about staying calm and composed under pressure. I used to think this is not possible before, but I learned it because I had to learn how to stay control, especially when I feel triggered by my children. I had to learn how to stay control. In fact, at the time, I had to bring them as my accountability partner so I can be controlled and not be that mother that is all over the place. Do you get that point? Then the third one is motivation. Motivation is, let me just say in one word, is staying power. Staying power. Another word that we'll have used for motivation here is resilience. Oftentimes people start projects and they could not stay true because along the line they lost motivation. Oftentimes you find that people pull out of certain things because they are looking for external validation. They're looking for external reward. They're not getting it. And because they are not getting it, you look as if things are not working. And if they had waited just a few more minutes or a few more hours, they will have gotten the best of what they want to do. But along the line, they lost motivation and that makes it challenging. Hello, please. Are you there? Is anyone there? Can I hear you? Are you there?
Yeah, we are here.
Okay. I just want to be sure that I'm not talking to myself. Okay. Because I'm just seeing my screen and I cannot even see the chat room. All right. I hope you're getting value from this class, please. Hello. Are you getting value from the class?
Yes.
Yes, so
all right,
yes,
thank
yes,
you.
so
Thank you. So when I talk about motivation, I'm saying that motivation simply means that you have staying power. You can stand the test of time. There's a place in the Bible that says that if you faint in days of adversity, your strength is definitely small. Do you understand? Your strength is low. That is what motivation does. That is your ability to pull strength from the inside. That's something that makes you say no. I think I've experienced this quite a number of times. I actually didn't understand that it was a kind of strength until people start pointing out as like, do you know that oftentimes I would have stopped doing this? I wouldn't have gone through this route. But seeing you go through, like, I just find that there are some things, maybe, especially in the area of my passion anyway, even though I get to that point and I'm like, what's all this? I don't want to do this again. But there's something on the inside that keep pulling you towards that thing. I just like, give it another try. Give them that shot, and before you know it, you are going there. So your ability to overcome discouragement through faith, you understand, is what I would call motivation. your ability to bounce back after a setback is what I will call motivation. Then this part is the one that is very, very interesting, empathy. Empathy is your ability to share and understand the feeling of another person. Your ability to see from their worldview, to see from their binoculars, to see from their lens, to see from their perspective. You understand? One of the challenge we have is that we want people to see the world from our own point of view. We are not seeing from their point of view. Okay, as I said this, now remember that in New Living Translation version of the Bible, when Jesus told the disciples that he was going to die, the Bible said Peter pulled him aside and said, "Don't say that." And that version said, Jesus looked at him after rebuking the devil. He now spoke to Peter and said, "You are seeing from men's view, from men's point of view. You are not seeing from God's point of view." Now, you need to understand that before you can be empathic, you must be able to see what people are seeing, the way they are seeing it. You should understand that when it comes to empathy, the way we see the world is different. Even though we are all looking at the same thing, our perception of that thing differs. And that's so many things are responsible for that. The way we grew up, our exposures, our level of knowledge, what we have passed through will determine how we could see that. You will imagine that if you give something to a child who is already exposed, who has seen the world at a tender age, it may not place so much premium on them, not because he didn't value that thing, but because he has seen so much. Okay, look at this man in the Bible. What's his name again? Naaman. When they told him to go and bathe in that, was like, "What do you mean? Do you know who I am? I'm a general. I don't know better rivers." It's because he has seen certain things. Another person would have said he's proud. Well, you must say he's proud, but given his exposure, given his kind of person, so you need to understand that if you want to be empathic with people, you should be able to see the world from their own point of view. And this is where we have a major challenge when it comes to emotional intelligence, because we are only seeing the world from our own point of view. It also means that you're understanding the emotion and the perspective of others. It means you're listening actively and responding with care, strengthening team unity through emotional connection. You see, this connection of a team is something that I really find very, very interesting. I recently had a challenge, to run this challenge for parents on my platform, and somebody was invited for that challenge. And after that challenge, a testimony was something that I could not just overlook. But I remember at the beginning of that challenge, what was I talking? The way this woman described her son, even me, I'm like, what is this? I kept asking myself, can I really deal with this now? But by the time we were done with that challenge, she on her own was able to see that, we had no bond with this child at all. And you see, parenting, let me use it as an example, is a game of relationship, not rules. And when you are at the helm of affair, you need to build a strong bond, a strong relationship with your team member. If you're always about just what you want to get the work job done, they will get the job done, but you have no relationship. And there will be a day when you will need that emotional bank account that you have overdrawn, and there will be nothing there for you. Social skill. You want to talk about social skills, that's talk about your ability to understand and manage your own emotion and those of the other people that you are leading. Do you understand? Then when you're able to understand your own emotion, you're able to understand the emotion of other people, and then you're able to, that will help you to now begin to build communication skill. You see, communication will be much more easier if we begin to learn how to be empathic. And you cannot communicate, you cannot get people to work with you when you cannot. You know, there is this saying that I said, I'm trying to pick the word correctly now. Nobody cares how much you know until they are sure how much you care. So if you are a caring person at the end of affair, you show genuine care for people under you. I can assure you that even when they can't seem to, they will go the extra mile. Even when it's not convenient for them, they will do more than you could imagine them doing. But if you're just about, let's get this done now, let's move, I don't care what happens to you, well, you may get the result, but the moment you lose people's hearts, remember that it's only one heart you lose, but you will lose two ends. You lose two hearts, but you will lose two hands along with the two hearts. So when you don't have the more, people just keep drawing back. Before you know it, they are looking for better alternative. They are looking for other places to go. And even though you are leading, what makes you a leader is that you have people following you. Before you know it, everybody is no longer behind you. Nobody's behind you again, and So you're no longer lead. That means you don't have social skill. You must learn how to relate. You must learn how to communicate, and not just communicate empathically and be able to bond with people. Some people are leaders, but they could not even sustain conversation, not just conversations, intelligent conversations. Okay, importance of emotional intelligence. I'll just give you 5 and then we'll move on quickly. I'm almost done here. Number 1, emotional intelligence for leaders, it improves team performance and productivity. If you are a wise leader, have you thought about this king in the Bible? What's his name? Solomon. By the time his son became king, the people came and said, we cannot allow you to rule us like the way your father ruled us. Can you imagine? We're just laboring, we're just this. That man is so intelligent that he could even manage how many wives? 700 wives and 300 concubines. Like 1,000 women in 1 year. You should ask yourself, just one wife at home, for those that are guys here, just one woman in your house, you have to put in a lot of strength. So you imagine how that man is able to manage 1,000 women. It tells you the level of his intelligence. And during his time, there was peace. They achieved quite a lot of things because this man is emotionally intelligent. And it enhances relationship and communication. It enhances relationship and communication. If you're emotionally intelligent, your relationship will be better for it. If you're emotionally intelligent, your communication skill will also develop, because you are not just talking to people because you know what to say or because you just have to say something. You're talking from the place of understanding, not just understanding yourself, but from the place of understanding those people, what they feel, how they see things, and what works for them. And from there, you can bring them to your side so that you can also see the world from your own point of view. Then the other part to it is that number 3, understanding and managing your emotions and that of others. Okay, it helps you to understand your own emotions, understand and manage your emotion out of others. If you're emotionally intelligent, when I got married, my husband is a very quiet person. Pastors know what I'm talking about. My husband even find it difficult to even pick up his phone and call his own people. And I will be angry. What is wrong with you? Why are you like this? I will just talk, you understand? Aside that, I'm the chatterbox at home. You understand? My husband doesn't have energy for talk. So I have all the energy to talk. I can talk. I will ask this man to say something. He will just smile. He won't say anything. And sometimes I just want us to converse. I need to get into him. I need to know what he's thinking. And it became something it's like a mountain for me to cross, you understand? But over time, as I begin to grow with understanding, and I begin to see that I found something that could help me get into him and be able to get him to talk, you understand? So I begin to see that, okay, there is a kind of conversation that draws him out. So I start from that point. Once I start from that point, the conversation is about him. He's enjoying himself. And before you know it, I pull him from there carefully to where I want him to be. I will start talking about what I want us to talk about. Do you understand? So I've often told my children that some of the things that myself and my husband, I've been married for 20 years. Some of the things we discuss in the highly about marriage, I told my husband, sometimes he look at me like, are you okay? Most of those things I was saying, I actually did not understand them. I didn't even know what he was talking about. But because I needed him to talk, I just allowed him to flow the direction he was going. But I know I'm going somewhere. I enjoy his conversation. I gave him that listening here. And from there, I pulled him gradually to where I was going. So emotional intelligence will help you to understand and manage your own emotions and that of others. It also enhances your decision-making skills. It helps you to make good decisions. See, at the beginning, I said 2 words to summarize the whole thing that they call emotional intelligence is patience and self-control. There's a place in the Bible, I'm trying to remember now, that was saying that if you are a man who is that is self-control, is stronger than a man who can take over there's a way I can't remember the way he said it exactly now. If you are self-control, there is nothing you cannot bring down. If you're and you cannot be self-control if you're not patient. So you cannot be emotionally intelligent and say you lack patience and you lack self-control. And if you want to make good decisions, you must be emotionally intelligent. And finally, on this point is that it enhances your ability to motivate people to achieve a worthwhile goal. As a leader, you want to achieve worthwhile goal. You have projects that you want to carry out. Your ability to manage people comes from emotional intelligence. If you are not emotionally intelligent, and part of what we've talked about social skills. Emotional intelligence covers social skills. Under social skills, you have communication and relationship ability. If your relationship quotient is poor, you might not be able to mobilize people to achieve what you want to achieve. I hope somebody is getting value from this class.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I think I'm about to draw the curtain. How do we develop emotional intelligence? How do you develop emotional intelligence? At the beginning of this class, I said emotional intelligence is a skill that must be cultivated. Patience is a virtue. Self-control is a skill that we have to develop. Oftentimes, we were not taught how to do these things while we were growing. As we grow up, we begin to learn how to do these things. And let me tell you a bit about my lack of emotional control. I can just be all over the place and just raise my voice. I'm a sanguine, life of the party. And after 5 minutes, I'm cool. And people begin to look at me like, this woman, what is wrong with you? You understand? Now, when I was a child, I could display some funny behavior like this. I could just be at the heat of the moment and just be irrational. But amazingly, looking back, I believe my parents did not know how to teach that, because that would have been a teachable moment for them to teach me how to control my emotions and how to develop that skill. But rather than teach me, they either start shouting or even spank me. And when they beat me themselves, when they use corporal punishment back then, and when they do all those things, they feel that they're trying to tame, but I feel unheard. I feel that what I was trying to react to has not been dealt with. They are just seeing my reactions, but that has not been dealt with. So what that does for me is that it suppresses that emotion or that manifestation of that emotion in that form, but it comes out in another form. Did you get the point? And I grew up, I was already replaying my mother's and my father's card in parenting until knowledge hits me. So let's see how knowledge will hit you tonight, and you're going to also switch your approach to do better. Number one, if you want to develop emotional intelligence, you must be self-aware. Self-aware means you're able to name it and you're able to tame it. You're able to say, this is what I feel. This is what I feel. And I'm feeling like this because, okay, I felt embarrassed because of the way she shouted. Okay, when she shouted at me, will it be that she's also tense? That's you probing it. If you go back to when I talk about self-awareness, I talk about you probing it. Okay, this is something that is deliberate. Okay, I think I should ask her, what exactly happened? Is this about me or is it about her? But before you can do all those things, you must know exactly what you felt. If you don't know what you are feeling, you will not be able to address it. So you need to know what you are feeling to be able to do this. And to help you track your emotion, one of the best things you can do for yourself is to keep an emotional journal. So as I was going to work this morning, I drive past the policeman in Nigeria, and the man was being rude. It was just rude to me. And I felt so irritated. Note it down. I felt, what did you feel? I feel irritated. Why? Because the policeman was rude to me. How did you respond to it? This is what I respond to. Okay, when you get back home, you just write, okay, when I got to work, this also happened, this one happened too. And when you note all those things down, you are consciously becoming mindful of your emotions. And the moment you become mindful of emotion, when you get back home, take time to sit down and brood over it. Okay, I raised my voice at that man. That is not a better way to do it. I could have done it better. Oh, okay. Then you're already tracking your emotions because you have a journal that is helping you to keep tab on what you felt, why you felt like that, and why what you have done and what you should have done. Like I said, you're either responding or reacting to emotions. Number two, you have to be proactive. Being proactive means you are planning ahead. Now, you have a project that you want to supervise as a leader, or something you want done in your home, in the church, or in your company, or you have been assigned to lead a group. There's something that must be done. Don't just plan the good side. Oh, we're going to move from there to this place, move from there to that place, and you're just focused on that. Ask yourself, what can possibly go wrong? If it goes wrong, what can we do to mitigate it? What can we do to avoid it? If it's unavoidable, if something definitely like this happens, what are we going to be doing like that? I planned a conference for teenagers for the first time, and I had about 300 children. Thankfully, that place was spacious. When I was going to do the second one, I was actually hoping I was going to host about maybe 300 children or 500 children at that time. But I knew that I just started having this feeling that I need to have a medical personnel. I need to have a medical personnel. I actually didn't understand why. Not until we got to that program, I was forced to close the program ahead of the planned time. You know why? because suddenly we now find that that place is not conducive. So I have to call everybody, that stakeholders, and say, I'm sorry, we have to shut down this meeting now, because I wouldn't want to be responsible for any child collapsing because of lack of ventilation or whatsoever. We never envisaged that, or I never thought about that. And if anything had happened at that point in time, I would have been destabilized. All my team members, the whole program would have just been a confusion. Do you understand? So being proactive help you to stay in control of your emotion. Number 3, this is very, very paramount if you want to be able to manage other people. Seek first to understand before being understood. And for you to seek first to understand, you talk about empathy, talk about you knowing what those people are going through. It's not about they understanding you first. It's about you first understanding, okay, this thing you're talking about, this is about. Okay, is this what you mean? And you are listening to understand, not listening to respond, not listening to give direction. Do you understand? Oftentimes, parents will complain, or spouse will complain that their spouse is not talking to them. They keep secrets, that they just shut down on them. They are not keeping secrets. The challenge is that you were not listening, or you don't listen. And anytime instead of you to listen to understand, you are always quick to attack. You are quick to attack because you felt that, or you try to solve their problem immediately. Okay, is that what happened? Oh, you just give them unsolicited advice. And because of that, they felt you are not listening, you're not hearing them. Because you're not hearing them, they don't know what to say to you again. Actually, I did the case of a girl last year. It was about 13 years old. And when the parents reached out, they just said that they found out that she's active. But by the time I sat down with her and talked to her for just 1 hour, I found that she already committed an abortion. She already aborted the baby. And I was just curious. I want to know what happened. And I found that this girl started doing certain things because the parents were not giving her room for expression. She could not talk with them. And before she started talking, the parents feel they know the answer. We are mature. We've been through this, and they just slam it on her face. And she felt, I cannot think. I cannot breathe. I cannot just say what's on my mind. And before you know it, this girl started finding solace in the wrong people. And before you know it, that's where we'll find ourselves. Thankfully, they discover on time, and we're able to go through a process of counseling. And after about, in fact, before we finished the sessions, there was a shift. And we have to manage the scenario between the parent and the child. That they need to learn to listen, to hear what they are saying. When you're listening to people, you are not just hearing words, listening for emotions, listening for feelings, listening for perspective, listening for meanings, listening for culture and interpretation, listening for orientation, so that you are able to respond appropriately. You want to develop emotional intelligence, then you must be empathic. Empathy is a skill too, and you have to develop it. Empathy is your ability to see from other people's worldview. You have to remove your lens and use their lens to see. That means you have to walk in their shoe. So you're able to say, okay, this is what this person is saying, this person is feeling, and then you're able to respond appropriately. Now, I also say that if you find yourself in the place of work, and maybe there's crisis or whatever, you find yourself as a leader, and you want to be emotionally intelligent, the best thing you're going to do for yourself at that time, and you should do, is that when there is crisis, focus on solving the problem at hand. And then you can challenge whatever you feel is out of place later. Don't expend energy on blaming people, criticizing, fighting. Just focus on what should be done at that time and move on. I walked into the house one day, and I've actually always told my son, don't leave food and this at this particular spot. There is every tendency for this thing to just topple and everything just go. And every time I had to call him and keep saying this thing. And amazingly, that day I walked in, and as I don't know, I think something fell from my hand. As I was trying to pick, I was not conscious of it. And the whole pot of soup was on the floor. He came to welcome me. He saw what happened. Oh, I have grown. Like, I look at myself and say, oh, I have grown emotionally. If we were to be dead, I would have raised down the whole house. I would have been like, I've been saying this, and it should have been, we won't hear the end of it. But when I just saw that, I just picked myself, picked my bag, whatever fell from my hand, I just picked it and just walked into the room, go have a shower, and I was laying on my bed. I didn't say a word. I can't remember saying a word about it up to now. And by the time I realized it, he has cleaned up everywhere. He has, and I think 2 days I just observed that particular thing I've been talking about. You understand? he now had to learn that this thing I've been saying, you can't afford to forget or to be forgetful or not to attend to it. Now, what does that mean? Does it mean I'm encouraging wastefulness? No. If I had reacted at that time, I could have done something silly because I've been telling him about it before. And I won't be in control of my emotion because I'm already coming back. I'm just coming back tired, exhausted, and that would not be a good time to address that issue. So what did I do? I just went quiet and, he adjusted. Then after some time, we started talking about it again. Then one of the parts that I see that I've not been so good with is when I come into the house, a scattered house triggers reactions for me because I'm already stressed. And when I get into the house, everywhere is organized. That's the way of helping me to gel. It's a way of helping me to calm down. But when I get into the house, everything's all over the place. And it is from the door, I will start raising alarm. What kind of thing is this? Why is this? Why is that? But at a point in time, I saw that even the children doesn't even understand why I was shouting. Like the moment I start shouting, I become the emotional thermometer instead of the thermostat. You understand? I become the trigger in the house. So when I realize that, what I do is I prepare my mind from wherever I'm coming from. So the moment I enter the house, everything is scattered or they are not putting things in appropriate places. I just bend down, pick what I need to pick, do what I need to, and before anybody start adjusting. And over time, everybody now begin to know that, okay, this is not supposed to be, this is supposed to be like this. What I'm saying is, when there are crises, at that point in time, focus on finding solution and not apportioning blame. Find solution to solve that problem first. When you are done, you cannot come back and say, next time, this should not happen, this should not be done. If this happens, these are the likely consequences you are likely to face. And when you say this to people, it helps them to know that, wow, do you understand what I'm saying? Especially in the office setting, when things happen, things didn't go as planned, don't be focused on who is wrong or who is not. It is you, the leader and the team, against the problem, not the problem in between you. Do you understand? So focus on finding solution, then you can now move to the other part of it. I think for today, we cannot go beyond this place. This is where we're going to draw the curtain about emotional intelligence. Thank you for having me. I do hope you got enormous value from this class.
Thank you very much, Mama B. Thank you very much,
Mama
B. That was a very explosive session. I mean, I didn't expect less, having been under your trainings and under your sessions. I didn't expect less, and I know that if we gave you 2 hours, you're still going to continue dropping those bombshells. Okay, but because of time and because I promised people that we're going to make sure that we keep to time. Okay, if I'm just going to plead your indulgence, everyone. I'm just going to take 1 or 2 questions, and we'll be on our way. I know people have questions. Okay, someone has already said, I have a question. Do you want to type that very quickly? Temitope, can we quickly take your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's make it brief, straight to the point, because of time.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. That was insightful. You mentioned about I think with your spouse or someone, you said there was an issue and then you wanted to talk about it, and then he was saying he didn't want to talk about it at that moment or something. For me, I think I'm like that. Whenever there's an issue, I just like to just trash it, talk about it, and then let's move on. So what helped you at that time? Because I don't really like having things bothering me up in my chest. I don't like feeling that tightness and all of that. Thank you.
Okay, I think one of the things that can help you as a person when you find yourself in that kind of situation is keep emotional journal, like I said. Keep emotional journals. And apart from that, you may need to have some people around you, trusted friends that you can talk to. Like I have a friend in the US. I can call her up in the night and start crying. And the moment I call her up and start crying, she would just like, okay. She wouldn't even say anything. She just allow me to. When I feel, I just say, okay, thank you, I'm good to go. she's that kind of a friend. She can also call me and start crying. I will just understand that she needed to cry at that point in time, that she's overwhelmed and she needed to talk about she doesn't even know how to express herself. Now, when you're dealing with your spouse and your spouse is not willing to talk at that point in time, sometimes you may need to. Someone like my husband, he's very intuitive, and because he's intuitive, he's somebody that very analytical too. So they take time to process events and issues. Unlike me, that I just want to say it, and once I'm done, I am done. You understand? But for him, he's not like that. So oftentimes, I'm always talking. I'm always talking. Like I said, I'm the chatterbox. So if you have a husband like mine, what you could do is you will need to start learning how to manage emotion. Take record of what you felt, why you felt that way, and what you think can be done, and what has not been done. So when everybody is calm, you can address the issue. Because for my husband is one person that can, like, personally, I attack issues. My husband would rather withdraw and walk from behind than facing it headlong. Do you understand? So you need to know that there's a difference between you and your spouse. And when you get to that kind of point, if you needed to talk about how you feel at that point and he cannot talk with you, you may also talk to your accountability partner at that point in time, and it will help ease the burden in your heart. The major thing is that you needed to talk. Now, because we are female, we'll talk a lot. You needed to talk. The moment you do that, you are good to go.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Quickly, this question says, with the key to talk, not screaming when the pot of soup poured. That means, I think that's something you have already addressed, actually. So he says, share more light on that. That's how to not transfer the aggression to the children at that instance. Is there any trick, any idea that what one can employ to manage that?
Okay, what I'm going to say is this, that I am not always like this. I am not always like this. I have had my daughter said that if it was me that had done this, I know what people have done. So I keep telling her, I said, when you were given birth to, I have so much energy, which I still have now, but I lack so much wisdom, I lack so much knowledge, and I'm very ignorant. But now that I've learned, there are things I should not do again. If I had to do those things again, it will mean that I do not, I have not learned and I'm not growing. Should you get the point? So what I'm saying is that I am not always like this. This that I've done that day was a journey of many years. Do you understand? So be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. When you are triggered, just calm down. And one of the things I didn't say during the course of this is when I talk about you naming and taming it, you have to learn to pause, think before you act. Now, let me say this to you. When it comes to emotional intelligence, there's something that's called emotional hijack, the amygdala hijack, rather. That's at that time when your emotion hijack your memory, you cannot be rational. And the only way you can intercept that is to just do something against what you're feeling at that moment. For instance, at that moment, if I started talking, I will not be able to stop at that time. This is a trick. You can't be thinking and be rational. If you are rational, it means you can't be thinking and be irrational. That's what I'm trying to say. If you are rational, it means you are actually thinking. Do you understand? So at that point in time, when things like that happen, just pause. You can just count to 10 quietly in your heart and then give yourself some time to think before you start talking.
All right. Thank you, Mama B. Thank you so much for that. Here's what we're going to do. Because of time, I want to make sure that we keep to the promise that we made when we communicated with people. And I'm going to say we're going to put a stop to it right now. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. I just dropped a link in the chat room, okay, for feedback. Okay, Mama B and I had a discussion earlier on before the session started to say, for those who will be interested in scenario-based sessions, all right? So you have specific scenarios that she has experienced, actually. They're not scenarios that were just, conjured from thin air. You understand? Scenarios that, like I said, Mama B has spoken to thousands of people, and I'm not exaggerating. She has spoken to thousands of people around, this subject, teenagers, parents, and all of that. So if you're interested in a session where we're going to deal with scenarios, please fill this feedback form. Let's have your email address. Let's have your input, and we'll put that together. Now, for those who still have questions, you can wait, all right? You can wait. We're going to take your questions maybe in the next 10, 15 minutes. Others who are interested in the answers to those questions, right? You can also wait. for every other person, I want to thank you for being here today. Thank you very much. I think at the maximum, we're about 31, 32 on the session, and I think that's a pretty good turnout. We're going to be reaching out to Rose again for further sessions, but for tonight, I want to say thank you, everyone. Let's stay intelligent. Let's keep, remember, name it to shame it. That's the slogan I'm taking away from here. All right, name it to shame, to tame it. Name it to tame it. All right. Let's be intentional. And I know that I know we've gotten value. But if there's any way we can improve with these sessions, fill the feedback form, right? And let's have your feedback. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so for those who are leaving us, I appreciate you. For those who are staying, I appreciate you as well. Mama B, I'm going to read a few questions for you to just quickly tackle. He says, my question is, this is from Jenny. This is from Jenny. She says, my question is, sometimes when you're not in the midst of like-minded, emotionally intelligent people, they may take you for granted. They feel you are weak, so they constantly tend to pick a fight with you, all right? Because they know you won't easily fight back. That means they're triggering you. How do you manage that?
Okay, when you find yourself with people in that kind of scenario, number one, you need to know who you are, establish your dominance in an environment. And what I mean by your dominance is it should be on record that I'm not this kind of a petty person. Just pick your battles. Pick your battles. So, and if somebody is always trying to pick a fight with you for things that are not relevant, it means that you're not on the same page. You don't understand. You're not on the same level of thinking. So if you have to, if you have to now start behaving like them, you have stooped low to their level. That's the thing. So the best thing is that, maintain a cordial relationship. There are battles you don't fight with even with words. Your actions are enough to tell them where they belong. So when you see those things, just give them a distance. They feel like, you're not keeping up. So after some time, they begin to adjust themselves. But then you must also know when to talk. And when you want to talk, you have to be firm and address whatever you need to address with a serious look and whatever you need to do at that time. But going about raising your voice and shouting and just walk away from them and just over time they become tired. And oftentimes, and that's what I find out, people that does that, they are trying to understand your personality is challenging their orientation, and they are trying to process who is this person. So don't give them the feel, don't give them the ability to go back to their vomit. So the best thing you could do is at that time just keep a distance and just keep moving.
All right. Let me take you back to what Fashola said some years ago.
Okay, sir.
He said you don't fight with pigs. All right.
Exactly, because they just rub you in the mud.
And they will enjoy it.
That's their place.
Yeah, exactly. So I have that understanding. Taken directly from the session that Mama gave to us, respond, don't react, right?
Exactly.
When you find yourself in such a situation, respond, don't react. I mean, I found myself a victim of that, and it beats me seriously, all right? It beats me seriously, and I've made a mental note never to let that happen again, God helping me. Okay, I'm going to yield the floor to, I'm going to call him the way I call him, but that birthday, you have a question. Over to you. Yeah, you did.
Okay,
are you
sir.
there? You have to unmute yourself. You're muted.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Your question,
Good evening, sir.
My question? No, I didn't ask any question.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
I
thought
clapped.
you had one. All right, great. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and I think that's it. I don't see any other questions. Someone is asking for the recording. I'll work on that. Just make sure that the email address you provided is correct. I'll compound the session and share it with you. Someone asked a question. Yeah, Dr. Mary, your question. Dr. Mary, you need to unmute yourself. Okay. All right. I'm not sure. Can you hear me, Dr. Mary? All right. Okay. It's either you're having a network issue or an audio challenge. Do you want to type that
Can you hear me?
loud and clear?
Yes, we
Very
can.
good.
Okay, good evening. Thank you so much, Mama B. And thank you, sir. My question is, we have this I've forgotten the name. We have this 4 category of people: the melancholy, the sanguine,
Sanguine,
the
phlegmatic,
mental
and
people,
the choleric.
the choleric, the phlegmatic. Do they have different types of emotional intelligence, or emotional intelligence can be taught for all? Can I say because I'm a melancholy, I should be restricted to, I should have this much emotional understanding? Or I don't know if you get my question. Do we
Okay, if I
separate?
guess you, do we separate what? Hello?
I think she's having network challenge. So our question will be, how does your
Your
temperament,
interaction.
how
Okay.
does your temperament impact on your emotional intelligence?
Okay, like I said, I'm the life of the party, with plenty energy, and I can talk. But my husband is that person that is very quiet, and you have to beg him to even talk. And amazingly, I told him one day, I said that I'm grateful that I had my son, because if it's only my daughter that I had, probably I would have fainted in the house, because two of them, they are cut from the same fabric. They could, that kind of a thing. Now, your temperament actually can affect how you react or respond to certain things. And even though it affects how you react or you respond, it also shows that if you do not manage those things properly, it can mar your relationship. It can mar your experience and your leadership. Take, for instance, my husband is not the talking type, and it can be quiet to the point that sometimes I become like, this one, you should be talking. As in, I don't understand why you're not talking. I expect a reaction from this. Do you understand? Yes, that is part of his temperament. But emotional intelligence requires that there are situations that, even though you are a quiet person, you need to communicate certain things and let people know that though I'm quiet, though I'm not given to aggression, but at this beyond these boundaries, you cannot go. These are things that are not acceptable here. These are the values that run here. This is the culture of this place. I don't know if you're getting the point. So when you're relating with people, you understand their temperament quite all right. But emotional intelligence tells you that because they are this kind of people, this is how they reason, this is how they respond to issues, this is how to relate with them, so you can get the best of them. So emotional intelligence can affect our temperament. When we understand people's temperament, then we are able to respond appropriately. That's the one.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Little wonder, Peter decided to cut off the ear of that that soldier, because he's the
At the
kind of
spur of that
person who
moment, he had a rush of
acts first, think
rush of
later.
emotion.
Yeah, because it's sanguine. And then the melancholy person will go into deep thought first, right? Before acting. So
Before now,
yes. Yeah.
and
All
sometimes
right.
you
Thank
think
you
they are
very
never
much.
going to act.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Again, I want to appreciate everyone who waited. And thank you very much, Mama B. I can tell you that I look forward to having more sessions like this, possibly on a larger platform as well. And thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to just share the link again. Peter, can you help me do that? Just copy and paste it again so that people can give their feedback. Those who are interested in having a follow-up session, that would be great as well. And if you want direct access to Mama B, that's also great. You have personal, because like you heard, she's also a trained counselor. Of course, I'm going to ask for the terms and the conditions for that from her before yielding that access. But please let me know. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been wonderful having you around. If you have questions, you need further follow up, let me know. Like I said, You've been amazing. You've been an amazing audience. And I look forward to seeing every one of you at higher pedestals, reading about you at higher pedestals. I know we're going places together. Thank you very much, everyone. And have a wonderful evening. Mama B, thank you very, very, very,
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so
I
much.
do appreciate it.
All right,
God
then.
bless
Cheers,
you.
everyone.
Thank you. Yeah. God bless you, sir.
Amen.
Thank you.